Welcome into Swarmcast here on the ESPN Houston YouTube channel. Joe George, Will Kunkel here to talk to you about the 500 Houston Texans. This episode is brought to you by Blue Star Tequila. You can find it near you at bluestartequila.com. Great thing to have while you're watching the game on Thursday night or coming up as the schedule gets tough for the Houston Texans. But Will, the Texans are back to 500, 16-13 win over the Titans. C.J. Stroud returned to practice on Tuesday, but in a limited capacity. Still feels like he's going to be out for the game against the Bills. But Davis Mills has been, I think the word I would use is solid. He hasn't been extraordinary in any way. He's made some good throws. He's missed some easy throws. But he's really done his job as a backup quarterback. There's no quarterback controversy. There's none at all. But the Texans are back to 500, and their playoff hopes are now firmly alive.
Yeah, they're alive, for sure that, especially with the way that this season has unfolded. We said the goal was to be where the Ravens and the Chiefs are. We are. We didn't think it would be 5-5, but nonetheless, they're in position to be competing for a playoff spot, albeit a wild card, so expectations have been tampered. Let's be real about that. They're no longer to host 2 home games. It's no longer to get to the AFC Championship game. Right now, the expectation or the hope or the goal is to just get into the playoffs. And hopefully the offense figures it out a little bit more by then because, as we say every week, their narrative of this team is elite. Elite #1 defense in the NFL. And we saw it again against the Titans. And again, we saw a closer game than we would like to see because the offense is not very good. And to your point, Davis Mills starting and playing well enough kind of dictates exactly what we've been saying about this offense, or depicts what this offense is. It's got issues outside of the quarterback position. It's a Nick Caley. It's a lack of talent. It's an offensive line. It's got issues before you get to the quarterback. So everybody that wanted to criticize CJ throughout the regular season, we can all admit this offense is better with CJ. We can all admit CJ is better than Davis. But with that being said, there are issues before you get to that point with this offense that are on display against a not very good Titans defense.
Yeah, and then especially because you look at the compare and contrast, these games aren't that different, really. The first Titans game with CJ, the second Titans game without CJ. They're very similar in a lot of ways. You have not a lot of points scored in either game. 1 through 3 quarters, it's 6-0. The final score of this game, 16-13. So you've really played one great offensive quarter against the Titans this year. So it shows you where the offense is at. But it's the fact that they're back to 500 is, it's not a miracle because the schedule's set up this way. Even with Davis Mills, you knew you could beat Jacksonville, you knew you could beat Tennessee. You checked those boxes. And now you get into a stretch in your schedule where you play the Bills, the Colts, and the Chiefs. The Bills, they're beatable. I'm not going to predict the Texans are going to beat them with Davis Mills at quarterback, but we've seen Josh Allen have stinkers this year. We've also seen him this last weekend have 6 touchdowns.
If the Dolphins can beat them, the Texans can beat them.
Yes, exactly. We've seen the Colts, Daniel Jones in his last 2 games has 7 turnovers. The Kansas City Chiefs are clearly a beatable football team this year. They've lost to Jacksonville this year. So there is a path to where it's okay, the Texans can really get this thing humming if the offense can get going just a little bit more. The one thing I would like to see transition from Davis to CJ is the involvement of Nico. I don't feel like Davis Mills was forcing the ball to Nico Collins this weekend. He was just throwing it to him because he was open. It was the play call, it was the design. Nico was open, getting separation, and Davis was just going to him over and over and over again like he has the last 2 weeks. That's what I want to see more of when CJ comes back because I feel like that just unlocks the offense to a different level and really gives you legit playoff hope at that point if that happens.
Yeah, I want to see that happen more, and then once they start taking away Nico Collins against better defenses, which they're going to attempt to do, I want to see more Jalen Noel. I want to see the other guys chime in, and that's when C.J. Stroud's really going to start spreading the ball around, which he's done a pretty good job of as a starter, of spraying the ball around, hitting 9 different guys throughout games. But what about coaching decisions?
Yeah,
I want to harp on this because it has been the MO for the season, and it's been what I've griped about all year long. These guys, albeit a lack of talent at certain spots on the offensive side of the ball, are not being put in position to have success. Matthew Wright misses a field goal in the opening drive. You get a blessing of a penalty to give you another chance to try to punch it in. Once again, you can't do it. Once again, you can't do it from the 1-yard line. And then you get sacked on 4th and 1 for an 11-yard loss. But the decision to not kick that football, Dude, you have a bad offense. You have a worse. You can't get into the red zone, let alone score once you're in the red zone. Take the points. Take the gift that was given to you. Have a second chance at that field goal. Take the points when you can get them because, again, you can't get in the red zone, let alone punch it in. Take the points. That decision to go for it, I think, is just not good because you don't know what you have and where you lack.
So, because in general, I would say, I think the Texans made the right decision.
Go for it.
If they were any other football team.
Oh, I was about to say, yeah.
Like at first I was like, okay, when they went out there, I was like, this is the right decision. And like you have a quarterback who showed, I think, in that moment he's a backup for a reason. Cannot take the sack. You got to throw it up in the air, even if it's picked, if it's an incomplete pass. Like they get the ball on the 2-yard line. It's not a big deal. They have to go 98 yards. I know they went 95 later in the game. Like they had to go 98 yards at that point when the Titans' offense was terrible in the game, as it was for most of the game, and you have an elite defense. So I get why you go for it. But Davis has to get rid of the ball there. But to your point, taking the points is probably the safer bet at this point in the season because your red zone offense, your short yardage situations have not improved at all. Even with this new version of the offensive line that I think is okay.
Like I think it's another conversation.
Yeah.
We're going to get there.
But like the decision to go for it, it felt like they weren't going to get it. I'm glad they threw it though. On a side note, like I think that to me, like it's kind of a baby step forward in a way. Where like even though they didn't get it, like I'm glad they didn't just run it up the middle again for like the third time that drive, and they tried something a little different with the offense in that moment. So while it didn't succeed, I'm glad they tried something different at least.
Not every team is created equal, right? So to your point, if I'm watching the Chiefs, if I'm watching the Ravens, if I'm watching a good football team offensively, I say go for that. Like, go for it. Why not? You have a decent chance. You march all the way down the field. You get to the one, go for it. You leave 99 yards for the other team. Like, for sure, I have no problem with that. For the Texans, though, they can't get into the red zone. They can't convert in the red zone. It's not safe to kick it. It's smart. It's your play. It's your best option. It's your goal to get points on drives, no matter what they are if you're the Texans offense. And your defense is good enough that a field goal is a nice win. It's more than a win. It's more of a win for the Texans because they're a great defense than it would be for an ordinary team because they don't have the defense the Texans have. So, for instance, the Dolphins game. I don't know if you watched this game in Madrid.
It was gross.
Pulling my hair out watching Mike McDaniel go for it on fourth down. Why are you going for it in that situation versus kicking it? With about a minute left, you called a timeout prior, but you go for it on fourth down, tie ball game with a minute 40 left. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Kick it, take the lead. The only way I like that call is if you're going against Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, and there's like a lot of clock left, like for sure. You're going against Marcus Mariota. Like, we're okay here. Not saying it's a guaranteed win, but take the lead. There are instances where you just take the points. And their starting running back was out at that point. Like, you got to know the situation. You got to know who your team is, what your DNA is, what your identity is, if you have one. Texans don't have one. Not kicking it there is just it's exactly what we see every single week. Starting City So. Not getting Jarrett Patterson on the field earlier than in week 10. What is happening? Why is these coaching decisions happening?
Well, let's talk about the
repeatedly.
Let's talk about the offensive line because there's one more coaching decision I want to get to as well. But the decision with the offensive line, Howard's at right guard, Brent's at right tackle. Now Ed Ingram could be back for the game on Thursday, so we'll see what the offensive line shakeup is again. But I think the Jarrett Patterson point that you just pointed out there is a very good one. It's just like he's been good at left guard so far in his 2 games that he's been the primary left guard. Why did it take so long to get there? So what do you now want to see with or without Ingram? What does the offensive line look like to you moving forward?
It should be Ariante Ursary, Jarrett Patterson, Jake Andrews, Titus Howard, or Ed Ingram, Titus Howard.
Okay.
That's what it should be. Now, if there's a situation where Trent Brown's maybe you're better I'm not here to tell you, I'm not here to evaluate offensive line play at a deep level, but I can tell you that City So didn't work, and that was a stupid decision. I can tell you that Jarrett Patterson's been a better option at left guard, and that's the way to go versus rotating Drew Scruggs and Laken Tomlinson. That's what pisses me off the most and bothers me the most is that these decisions are so bad, even a dumbass like me can see it.
Yeah, what do you think about if they put Titus at left guard to keep Trent Brown at right tackle?
I like the idea. I don't know if Titus is better at left. This is what I'm saying. I don't know if Titus is better on the left side.
But you would be
okay
if they tried it at least.
I'm okay with them trying it, and it doesn't look like crap. Like,
Yeah.
I've got to at some point say, y'all are the NFL coaches getting paid millions. Why is it so clear that you make bad decisions and that when you make a good one, it comes in week 11?
Yeah.
I can't get over the City So thing because it lasted 9 plays. If it lasted a half and it was like, okay, wishy-washy, all right, fine, you tried it. Cool. I like that. Like, maybe his mental game was what you wanted. Cool. It lasted 9 plays. It was so bad, it lasted 9 plays. You literally looked at yourself and like, I don't know.
Yeah, this guy stinks.
Yeah, like, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, and then yank him.
We do it again with the Jarrett Patterson now at left guard, finally.
Yeah. It's the other one to hit on, and this one to me is I don't know who to blame here, right? Because DeMeco said that on the challenge, he thought maybe the guys up top saw something that he didn't see. Mm-hmm. But my gosh, that's one of the worst challenge flags I've ever seen thrown.
Yeah, first half, I thought his explanation yesterday or on Monday was okay. Like, first half, timeout, whatever.
Yeah, I
don't lose the timeout. It's not second half.
But you do lose the challenge.
You do.
You lose the chance at a third challenge. Like, so it's like there is a path where, like, if you needed 2 challenges later in the game, you've now eliminated one for them. It didn't bite them. It's more just like he's 2 for 7, or he's 2. Yeah, I think it's 2 for 7, 29% as the head coach of the Texans throwing challenge flags. This isn't a DeMeco thing, I don't think.
Yeah, that's another thing.
It seems like it's
the process
up
thing,
top
right?
thing. Yeah, so it's just
process.
Another thing with the Texans where it's just like that's not as clean as you want. And look, the average, we went through it on Jeremy and Joe. It's like 2 years ago it was 60% success rate on challenges. Last year it was 40%, right? So DeMeco's still at 29, so it's still lower than the average either of the 2 years. Because if you balance that out, it's very obviously 50%. And DeMeco's nowhere close to that. So the process of that there too is flawed. And that to me is like the Texans are 500. If they're going to make the playoffs, the processes of all of this stuff that we're discussing here have to get better. Your red zone execution, choosing to go for it and choosing when to kick a field goal, choosing when to challenge and not to challenge, choosing who your offensive line and who your offensive line is not. Like, those are things that, I think in a positive way, in theory, can still be course corrected at this point in the season. Will they? Probably not. Probably not. Like, I wouldn't bet on it. But, like, can they, based on the coaching decisions with it, they can. Because that's not all player failed execution. It's mostly coaching is the issue there.
Yeah, step one is getting put in position to have success and the evaluation process to know who to put out there, let alone the plays to call. That's the next level. To the challenge point, I don't have an argument on this. I don't have an opinion, but what if not of those 9 challenges, 8 of them were kind of the same situation. First half, let me see. It'd be nice if we win it. It's not the end of the world if we lose it. So
sure.
They all are separate ones. It's not like you're trying to win every challenge necessarily. I know that's like you'd like to. Like, if you throw the flag late half, you better win that challenge.
Yes.
Like, you need that timeout in the second half. In the first half, you can flip that coin a little bit more. So I don't know where all those 9s happened, what the story was for each one. Like, every challenge, like every interception, has its own story.
Yes.
So just what if? As for Jalen Noel now, finally a kick return, punt return. Now he's starting to set a little bit of records. I put some stuff out on X about what he did numbers-wise in the kick return, punt return game. Why did it take this long?
Yeah, but then where is he at on offense?
Yeah, I go back and forth on this because I do agree. I would like to see a higher snap count. I'd like to see him put in position to be able to make plays. But sometimes the game flow, sometimes the route tree, sometimes the defense takes away things. Like, sometimes it's not all there. Not everyone can eat. Nico can't get the most targets week in, week out all the time. And then also Jalen Noel. It's like the offense isn't good enough. Yeah. The offense isn't on the field long enough, converting, driving all the time to where, hey, let's get Jalen Noel 15 touches. Let's get Nico Collins 11 touches. Let's get Christian Kirk his 2-3. Let's get Woody Marks his 28 carries. Like, it's impossible. Mm-hmm. There's just not enough plays.
Yeah.
Like, you're not in position for that to happen. So one guy will eat a week, ideally.
Yes.
We're not at the point where several guys can go out and eat.
No, it'd be and I would say it's almost 2, because I feel like it's always a receiver plus Schultz.
If the offense is working, Schultz is always just kind of. Schultz is the guy that's just around the table grazing at a potluck. Like, always.
Yes. Like, he's not like unbuttoning his pants at Thanksgiving stuff.
But just kind of grazing.
Yeah, he's just around.
He's been so good this year.
Yeah, Schultz. So Schultz is always kind of part of the offense, no matter who's having success elsewhere, which I think is, which in a way, like, shouldn't be too surprising for us, like, coming to where Nick Caley came from. the Patriots system, being the coach for Gronk and Aaron Hernandez, but like having success with those guys, like I think we are seeing like that translate, and maybe it could get even a little bit better if Cade Stover is able to return at some point this season. The tight end success to me has really been the only like real positive check for Nick Caley.
It's been the only consistent positive
Yes.
week in, week out. Like it's and to his credit. But you can't have success solely through 80 yards a game with your tight end. Like there has to be a lot more.
Especially when like he's not the most athletic guy on the field.
And it's not just Nick Caley. It's the offensive line. It's like there are issues. We talked about this before. I said if this offense gets going down the stretch, then we're going to feel the missing of Joe Mixon more and more.
Yeah.
Right now, whoever your quarterback is in that Titans game, it doesn't matter that much. Like, you got the win. It was going to be close. Like you said, the first time you played the Titans was kind of the same type of game because the issues ahead of that problem are so glaring and strong, and they trickle down to such a degree that the offense is what it is right now. And I'm hoping that they can figure some things out, but it kind of is what it is in Week 11.
Yeah, at this point, like the Texans are who they are. They're a 500 football team. They're probably going to be battling to get to like 9 in the 8 to 10 win range. A lot of it's going to be determined, I think, over the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like 10 seems high.
Well, I hope. I mean, I got the over 9.5 on like so many bets, dude.
I mean, it's not impossible. Like they have 2 more wins that like they're for sure going to beat the Cardinals.
The kicker is going to be that Colts game. Do the Colts rest everybody? The last one.
Yes.
That's like hopefully you're playing for 10 wins that game.
Yeah, because it feels like, okay, you get to 7 wins by beating the Cardinals and the Raiders. You get to 8 wins that last game if the Colts don't play anyone. Or you're just going to split against the Colts. Like I think whether they play or not, I think they split against the Colts.
If the Colts have to play that last game for whatever reason,
yeah,
I don't know, man. They are sound, like good football team.
I just think,
but this defense is so freaking good.
Exactly.
They can make Daniel Jones look terrible.
Now I'm just curious of your thoughts on this because it does feel like there's not. Maybe it's light criticism of the defense that in these games that they've lost this year, all these close games, that whether the Texans have either shot themselves in the foot, whether it's the fumbles like week 1 with Dare or Nico a couple weeks later, but there have been games like the Buccaneers game, the Titans game now, where like you do need like that one
Broncos
big stop. Yeah, the Broncos game. Like you need that one big stop, and the defense hasn't really come through in that way. I think that's a fair criticism. I don't think it's nitpicking either, but it's like this defense is still elite. But there has been times this year, like when you've needed them at their most, they haven't come up for you in the way that you've needed them to.
I think it's completely reasonable. Like, it is completely fair. And everyone else wants to say, y'all just want to be negative. Go watch my interview, my conversation with Kamari Lassiter on my YouTube channel, Kicking It with Kunkel. The first thing he said that they were going to do today, the day that I talked to him, he said they were going to the meeting rooms and they were going to find everything they did wrong. That's what you do when you want to get better. Like, that's the way it works in competition. You don't just go in there, look at all your highlight reel plays and how good we are. Like, no. You want to be the number 1 defense in the NFL. You don't talk about being the number 1 defense in the NFL, and you find everything you did wrong, and you try to improve on it. And right now, there are 3 spots where this defense has to get better. Tackling, red zone defense, and finishing games strong. No matter what you did for the whole game. And yeah, we can all sit here and say, listen, the offense has to help out the defense.
For sure.
You don't want them on the field this long. They give up one drive at the end of the game because they're tired. Yeah, for sure. But if you want to take that next step, if you want the game on your shoulders, then you have to come up big when you want it most. And that is not only fair, that's the standard that DeMeco has set. That's the standard that every player on the defensive side of the ball has set. They want the other team to have the ball with the lead, and you have a chance to win the game.
Yeah, and even like, you look back to even the Jacksonville game too, like you'd score a touchdown to make it 10-10, and then the Jags go on a 7-play, 83-yard drive in the final 2 minutes to get that 17-10 victory. Again, point, there was drives in between that for the offense. The offense is not holding up their end of the bargain.
It's
an offensive story of red zones, not turning field goals into touchdowns, empty drives when you need them.
Not kicking it when you should.
Yeah, but the defense is it still has had some big possessions where like they've not been as like you've desperately needed them to be the Trent Dilfer-led Ravens defense, and they haven't been able to come through in that moment for you when you've needed them at your absolute most. Because even like that Titans drive, the Titans are going backwards from sacks, they're going backwards from penalties, but then they get that one big chunk play that helps tie the football game. So it's just like the one or two plays that you want those back in a way.
Listen, there is no fair in the world of the NFL, okay? You want to be the best, it's on your plate. Yes, we know the offense isn't doing their part. Yes, we understand that. Well, guess what? It's one full football entity. Yes, there's 3 phases of the game, but you win this game as a team, but there's a lot on the defense right now. A lot. We understand that. We get it. Hence, we've been so critical of the offense since week 1. Mm-hmm. But the defense, it doesn't make them perfect. There are still things for them to work out and figure out, and they would tell you the same, and they do tell you the same. Go watch what Kamara Lassiter said on my channel. I'm telling y'all, they get it. They understand it. So you guys, when we're critical of teams, like, you don't just say, hey, we won A+ everyone. Yeah. You can look at the quarterback and grade them. You can look at the running back and the linebackers, defensive tackles, the kickers, and the punt returns, and parse it all out, break it down, see who did well, see who didn't do well. It's okay. You can be critical. Like, that's how you get better. You figure it out, and then you move pieces around accordingly.
Well, and Sunshine and Rainbows radio and podcasting is also not fun.
But it's also like, it's pointless if you want to learn anything.
Yeah.
Like, if you just want to sit here.
Well, that's not what the fans think either.
Like, let's get to the final week. If they get to 10 wins, no one that wants to know the game of football is going to be like, yeah, this is exactly how we wanted to get here. 10 wins. We are a 10-win football team, and we're charging in the playoffs. Like, no, we understand that there are severe flaws on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, what my gut tells me about how this Texans season ends is, like, we do look back at, like, that drive from Baker and the missed tackle from Henry To'oTo'o in space against Bucky Irving and be like, that's the game that might have cost the Texans the playoffs from a defensive perspective.
Sure.
Like where it's like, that's the one.
All that matters at the end is the win-loss record.
It feels like you're going to be, because I just feel like they're going to end up being one short. Like, the way the season, it just feels like in my heart of hearts, like they're going to be one short. Like, they can beat the Chargers, they can beat the Chiefs, which sounds crazy, but the Chiefs are not that good. I think they can beat the Colts once, if not twice, because I don't believe in Daniel Jones. I believe in this defense. Like, there's a lot of winnable games on. Really, the only game I look at as not winnable is the Bills game, and that's because Davis Mills is your quarterback. Unfortunately, not 100% at this moment, but it feels like he's going to be your quarterback when you play the Bills, and that's going to be a tall task to beat Josh Allen with Davis Mills.
Listen, the Texans are a heavyweight boxer without, like, the ability to hold off a lot of punches, but if they catch you, especially defensively, they can win any game against the team. Unfortunately, they don't have a real balanced attack. Like, they're not going body shots. They won't going head shots. They're not taking shots. Like, there are flaws within this boxer, and they can get knocked out by any team. They can also knock out any team with this defense. It's not going to be because of the offense. The offense just has to be a little bit better every week, and then they can start winning more games consistently. You can win games by 2 scores, but that's not who they are. That's not who they've been. It just is what it is. Like, we don't create the narrative. They create the narrative. It's okay to want to go a step further and look at a 10-win team at the end of the year and say not every 10-win team's the same.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, honestly, not every. Like, I was talking to Sean Mapes on Tuesday, and him and Dell were having this discussion, and I thought it was really interesting. What's really the difference right now between the 5-5 Houston Texans and the 9-2 Denver Broncos? Like, they're the same team. Both defenses are being led, are carrying their teams. Your quarterback play has been below what you expected from both Bo Nix and C.J. Stroud. The Broncos' offense hasn't been that good this year, either as the Texans. The Broncos protect their quarterback a little bit better with their offensive line. It's definitely better than the Texans. But, like, they're not that much of a different football team. Like, they're not a legit contender this year in my mind because they can't score on offense. They're being carried by their defense. But they're 9-2, and you're 5-5 because their offense, the one difference is Sean Payton, I think, has helped put them in the right position in key moments
when it matters most,
that have led them to this discrepancy between wins and losses between the Broncos and the Texans. But, like, they're not that different. Like, the Texans are 5-5, but, like, if you have a better OC in my mind, you're at least 7-3 right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they have a better offensive line. I think if you look at the full numbers, which I was doing pretty recently, the Broncos' offense, albeit not flashy and, like, world-beating to your point, I think they've been nominally better more consistently. Mm-hmm. So, like, they've built up kind of just a little bit better of an offense throughout the season. But they're not going to go out there and outscore anybody. And when you have a league where, let's just raw numbers for argument's sake, you have 5 teams that are just trash on that side. You have 5 teams that are really, really good. And then in the middle, you have the rest of the teams. And most of them are, like, week to week, penalty decides a game, an offensive drive, defensive turnover, decides a game. It's real marginal. It's razor thin. And that's kind of where the Texans are living. They live where, like we saw this years ago. I can't remember all the numbers, but I don't know why I remember this. But the Orioles one year won like 80% of their one-run games. You don't live that way going into next season. So, like, that's just not the way you can live winning games. The Broncos have just won all their one-possession games or whatever it is. The Texans have been on the other side, unfortunately, because they've made the errors down the stretch. Like, the Broncos haven't fumbled it with Dario Ngumbawale or Nico Collins or given up that big touchdown run for Baker Mayfield or against Bo Nix. Like, they haven't done that. It's just that one time, and that's where it is in the NFL for the teams that are kind of in the middle.
Yeah, the Broncos' point differential this season is plus 65, and they're 9-2. The Texans is plus 57. So they're right there in terms of like what their offense versus what their defense is doing. And it's just the Broncos have just had a little bit of extra luck and a couple extra plays that have gone their way. And I'm not trying to give the Texans a pass here, but I think that just to your point, it shows like how marginal the league is and why I think there's still some level of hope for the Texans. Like, I feel more hope now that they're 5-5, just being back to 500, seeing the Chiefs at 500, the Jags at 6-4, what they did to the Chargers in that game. Like, there is now, like, to me, like, it's like, okay, if you can just get, like, just when CJ gets back, just get that 1 or 2 extra plays in these games. The defense can hold on enough to where the Texans can flip the script on their season in this final stretch.
One thing that is probably a big difference in that record, too, the Texans are playing a first-place schedule. Broncos aren't playing a first-place schedule, so, like, that does matter as well.
It does.
And if the Texans were playing a second or third-place schedule, they wouldn't have to run into some first-place teams. To your point of, it's going to come down to probably one game at the end of the season. If they get in, I bet you it comes down, like they ran into the Ravens at an amazing time. They were able to cross off a box that was definitely an L if that team was healthy. That's a W. So, like, it's going to be one way or the other, and we'll look back at the Ravens game and when they got to see them, or what happened at the beginning of the season, because that's just a big hole percentage-wise to go down 0-3 in a 17-game season.
Yeah, if you would have won one of those games and you're 6-4 right now instead of 5-5, you're tied with Jacksonville with being 1-1 against them. Like I
think they're better than Jacksonville.
Yes, like I don't think Jacksonville's like great win against the Chargers. I was impressed.
Jacksonville,
what they did against the Chargers.
With the Chargers, by the way, their offensive line, you want to talk bad?
Oh.
So without Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, I mean, it's abysmal.
Well,
and the Jaguars exposed that.
At least their excuse is that, I don't know if that's 2 All-Pros that they're missing right now.
I think he's like for sure. And that's crazy. And that's why I think that game against the Chargers is actually going to be, I mean, there's no cakewalk for the Texans, but matchups matter too. So if we get to 10 wins or 9 wins and we're in the playoffs, who are we playing? How do we match up? When it is razor margin errors, razor thin margins, like the matchup is going to matter significantly for the Texans.
Yeah, like I think there's a path to where you can be in a position to where the season basically comes down to the Chargers game in Week 17.
You keep saying that. I think you're not wrong.
It feels like the Chargers have to come back down.
The Chargers are probably going to be out of it by then, don't you think?
No, their schedule's not that challenging. And then frankly,
they just got their ass handed to them by the Jags.
Like, who's going to pass them? Like, are the Texans going to pass the Chargers before them? Are the Chiefs going to pass the Chargers before them? Like, I want to say yes to both of those potentially, but neither the Texans or the Chiefs have like really stepped on the gas when they've needed to. The Ravens haven't done that so far with Lamar coming back. They're winning their games, but Pittsburgh's still kind of floating around. Like, there's a bunch of teams that feels like fighting for 1 or 2 playoff spots now, because I do feel like the Chargers are going to come back down to earth, but they play the Raiders this week, so they're probably good.
Or
in 2 weeks. They have a bye week.
I was looking at that on my show the other night. Like, their schedule is not exactly world beaters.
No, I mean, the Chargers, like, for like the benefit of the exercise here, they play the Raiders on November 30th. That's their next game. Then they play the Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Texans, Broncos.
Like, I think they could lose
a lot of those games.
All but one.
Which one?
I think they can win.
I think the Cowboys can beat them.
Oh, no, for sure. Oh, the Raiders.
Yeah, the Raiders are the only one that's like, they're going to beat that team because the Raiders.
Yes, the Raiders stink.
They stink at football. They're very bad. That game on Monday night was ugly. I don't want to watch the Raiders ever again.
Cowboys I'm telling y'all, watch out for the Cowboys. Like I said this early in the season, their offense was so damn good that they're going to be able to compete any given day. And now they got Quentin Williams in the middle. Like their defense just got a little bit more shored up. It's not very good, but it's better where it needed to get better.
Texans get the win or Cover?
I don't think they win.
Think they cover?
5.5?
Yeah, it's a 5.5 right now. It's moved a lot.
No, I think the Bills. I think this is just you're running into a team at a bad time. I thought the Titans game came at a perfect time. Banged up, bad team. This comes short week, still banged up, like really bad time. And I think missing Jalen Petrie with a moving Josh Allen, it will be felt too. I don't like this game for the Texans.
Yeah, got him last year. Don't think they're going to get him this year. All right, that will do it for this episode of Swarmcast. Remember, hit that subscribe button right here on YouTube. And where can they find you?
You can find me on all the social media platforms. Most importantly, though, follow me and subscribe to my channel, Kicking It with Kunkel on YouTube, y'all.
All right, this episode is brought to you by Blue Star Tequila, the world's first and only night harvested tequila. You can find it near you in plenty of bars and liquor stores. Just go to bluestartequila.com, go into the search bar there, type in Houston. Everywhere it's going to pop up that you can find it at the liquor stores and bars near you. Make sure you check it out for you while you watch the Texans on Thursdays or Sundays, especially that Sunday night game coming up. That might be a long one versus the Kansas City Chiefs. That will do it for us.
Another bad scheduling moment.
It is. All right, we will talk to you next week. Have a good one. Peace.